I'm very anti-turd. Very, very anti-turd. I think if you're going to be a bottom, you should be really good at it. If you on a you should be in prison.
Let's go.
Okay, so at my last show, I took this selfie. Big blue property energy. But anybody that knows anything about drag knows that drag is not meant to be seen that close. At least not without a little bit of something. So I opened up FaceApp and started with their impression filter. I tried using their cute filter because, I mean, obviously. And I only put it at around 2. I know some girls like to do a 5, but I still like for it to look like me. Then I used the retouch tool to touch up a little bit on the chin and a little between the eyebrows where the light's hitting it. You can see a lot of texture and a couple spots around the nose. Get that boogie out of there. Perfect. I also retouched a little bit on the mustache where some makeup was starting to smudge on it a little bit. Then I'm gonna use the paint tool to just darken a tiny bit around the eyeliner where it kind of faded a little bit, just to kind of fill in that spot. It's just a little bit of softening and a couple touch-ups, but it makes a huge difference. So here is the first pic in all its glory, and here is the final version, ready for socials. As a drag performer and a content creator, I share a lot of myself online, and a tool like FaceApp is essential. And I'm not trying to FaceApp myself into somebody else. That's what the costumes and the makeup are for. But I also don't want a moment or a look to be ruined by a surprise pimple or subpar lighting or eye bags after a long day. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. We deserve to be able to look back and remember ourselves at our best and not the tiny imperfections, even if it is just a backstage selfie. So if you've got some photos just sitting in your camera roll that you really like, but you don't love your skin or the lighting of the photo, just open FaceApp, play around with it. It's free to download, super easy to use, and kind of addictive once you see what it can do. Just click the link in the description or scan the QR code to download FaceApp and try their pro version for 1 week free. You'll get a 7-day full featured free trial, and from there it'll be just $5 a month if you go with their yearly plan. And I suggest getting an annual subscription because this is going to become your day-to-day tool for perfect photos. Available in the App Store and Google Play. And now, onto the video. Hi guys, welcome back to Give It To Me Straight, the show where we just sit in a chair and talk for an hour instead of getting off our ass and working. I'm your host, Maddy Morphosis, and joining me on the show today is the long-lost forgotten Kardashian sister of season 9 of RuPaul's Drag Race, Miss Kimora Blac.
Oh my God, Maddy, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Long lost Kardashian?
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Like basically, I think if anyone is like, I was not gonna mean this as shade, but I was about to say like if anyone is associated their brand so much with the Kardashians, it'd probably be you. And then I forgot there's a queen who literally has the name Kardashian that's on the show.
Ooh.
Khloe Kardashian.
Oh my God, yes, I do love it. I mean,
Not the double
carb.
shade.
That's carb.
Yeah, but still.
I'm the Kardashian
Yeah.
of drag.
With all the drag names you could have chosen, with how much you love the Kardashians, why didn't you like make Kardashian your name or somewhat tied to your name?
Well, I did when I came up with Kimora. Kim is in there, so I sometimes get introduced as Kim. But I've always been so obsessed with Kimora Lee Simmons and Blac Chyna, so I kind of mashed the 3 goats together. Kimora Blac.
You took like the name of 2 people and mixed them together, but then you attributed someone else's name in it. You're like, but Kim is also in there. But like,
Kim is in there. So
I mean, technically,
it gives me the option I can use whatever name I want. But I've always been in love with Kimora Lee Simmons because just seeing her on my television screen and her closets and her drama, I was like, oh my God. But I mean, obviously Kim Kardashian is the GOAT. And Blac Chyna because I love strippers.
Right.
And a lot of
Who doesn't?
my numbers are stripper, like stripper, involved in it. So yeah, it's just the name. Yeah.
It's not very often these days you see a lot of strippers not wearing nails. So it's like, it's crazy how you like put your own twist on it.
Oh, so she decided to put nails on today, and I have gloves.
I did put nails on for you.
This has been this continuing thing of nails.
This is like this is the old Kimora. This is like whenever you wore a little bit more black under the eye and you wore nails.
I had my smoky eye phase. I had my nail phase. I actually wore acrylics for like 6 years straight, getting my nails done once a week.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm in my new era where it's just boy haircut, no nails. So who knows? I might go back to that era.
Yeah, you should. Why not dabble? Androgyny's hot right now.
Is that what they call it?
I think androgyny is actually like an older term. I think 'cause I was born in the 90s, I say androgynous. I think non-binary T is kind of
I'll take that.
I think the more current
More like, okay.
nomenclature.
I like
Yeah.
that. Androgyny.
I feel like I tried to copy your mug, and I feel like I look like if one of the Duggars dressed up as Kimora Blac. So a different era of reality TV, but like it's the vision's there. I feel like,
Okay, when you're doing your makeup today, I was actually gagged because this is exactly my signature. I used to do the black smoky eye pulled up so it looks like I have a facelift, and then a white crease to give me like a lid so you can see the liner and smoky underneath. Like that was my go-to.
the vision's there, the goal, like you can see the finish line we were going for.
I see it.
Yeah.
I see it. I see
I,
it for sure.
I feel like what's more iconic of yours though is like the lips. You have very like the lips are very like Kimora Blac, and that's the one thing I can't do. I don't have any filler or anything, and if I overdraw them too much, I feel like I'll just look like a rodeo clown.
So we just said no fillers. I do have fillers.
Yeah.
So when I got on Drag Race, I had no fillers, and then I was really insecure on my lips, and then I kept overdrawing, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger. So I was like, okay, I need to find out what my lips are going to be for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, here I am.
Did you just like go in with like a picture of yourself in drag, and you're like, where the outline is, that's where I want you to fill them up to?
Yeah,
Like that
and
was the guideline.
I did it with no numbing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like a natural birth. Like you wanted to
Natural.
feel the pain so you're more
I
attached to
wanted
them.
to feel it, and I did one syringe on top, on the bottom. I used to get it done once a year, but I haven't got it done in like a year. So
Well, at a certain point, it just becomes like scar tissue, doesn't it? It's like almost like semi-permanent in a way, right? Isn't that a
I
thing?
don't care what it is, as long as it stays.
Okay. You said before, even in a brief appearance on Botched, that that's not a reach. It was actually on the show Botched for.
I was on the.
Yeah.
I was Trinity the Tuck's friend.
Yeah. But you went on there, and even the people on the show assume that you've had more work done than just your lips.
Which
But
oh, yeah, go ahead.
I thought you're about to be answering my question there. Have you had any work done since then, other than
Okay.
your lips?
Well, let me tell you what the real tea is. So
Okay.
we're sitting in the office, long story short, and they were looking at me. Obviously, I have a very iconic face. And they actually asked about my cheekbones. My cheekbone has been the conversation since I entered the workroom. These are my cheekbones. I will let you touch them on this channel to confirm. Because they did touch them, the two doctors, and I was hoping for them to show behind the scenes and what they did, because it would just debunk everything. Like, I'm a fan of plastic surgery. I had my ass done, my lips done, never had Botox in my entire life. But for some reason, people have always thought my cheekbones are fake. And I actually never had my cheeks done. So if you want to touch them, you can.
I feel like,
You can touch them.
like scientifically, like I have to try. I'm in a corset. This sucks. Okay, it's okay though. It's for science. Okay, I touch. Tink, tink. Oh my gosh. Oh, I don't mess up your makeup. Oh wow, that's bone.
It's bone. Like it's and it's crazy because I didn't think I look like I have work done. And I think also the way I paint and the way my cheekbones look, it looks like I do. And people have always thought my cheekbones are fake. So I kind of went along with it because I was sick and tired of explaining myself. Like they're not fake at all. And it was actually became an insecurity of mine. Because people started saying that I had too much work done. And I start to kind of went into not depression mode, but went into a mood of where like, wow, I just look like I have work done. So yeah, it's something that I've been wanting to debunk forever. But also, I don't really care. I think people are so fascinated with this obsession of like trying to find people what they have done. At the end of the day, it's not even a flex.
Yeah.
You know, so I kind of just went along with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like society went from being like getting work done was almost seen like oh, but that's not natural, to then it became like almost like more of a positive connotation of like, oh, she had work done? What'd you get done? And
It's like this thing that people live in where it's like they have to always, what's natural, what's too natural, what's ugly natural. Now, if you're ugly natural, you have to get work done. If you get work done, if it looks good, then it's okay. But if you get work done, it looks bad or not, doesn't look enticing to the person, then it's just bad. It's like this weird thing that people do. I don't wake up every day thinking about what people get work done. I pretty booked and blessed. I have other things to worry about than worry about if her cheekbones are fake.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, but I think more people assume that you had work done. It's more of like a positive thing though, because they're like, oh wow, look at those cheekbones. Like she must have had work done. No one's accusing me of having any work done, and they mean that negatively. They're like, yeah, that's a factory default person right there.
I actually went to South Korea, went the trip, and I was going to get them shaven down, if I'm using the correct term, because I was tired of. I guess the real way to say it is they're going to push in my cheekbones because it's basically hollow underneath the bones. But I had a few hours to think about it in the hotel, and I actually denied it, and I went back home.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You went to the other side of the world for a consultation?
Pretty much.
That's crazy.
Yeah, by myself.
You're gonna have them do. It's like whenever people have like the ganglion cysts and they hit it with the book. You're gonna have them do that to your cheekbones.
Because like my cheekbones, I love them. I don't want to get rid of them. I think I was doing it. I was gonna do it for the wrong reasons, and I decided no, these are mine. I love them.
Like whenever you got to, you see South Korea.
South Korea.
Well, not North, obviously, but whenever you went to South Korea, like how close were you to actually getting it done? Like, was there a moment where you like leaning towards it, like on a scale of like 1 to 100, like what % were you about to get them done?
Well, I was unsure the whole way.
Okay.
But my partner was like, just go and see what they think. And we did 2 consultations, one with teeth and one with the sides. So in order for them to take my cheekbones down, I would have to get a whole dental situation happen.
Oh.
So they were basically gonna break my jaw, break my teeth,
Jesus.
push the cheekbones in, and I would still have cheekbones because this one is, I can't. They can only go so far. So obviously I'm like 50%. Called my mother, and my mom was just like, I don't think you should do it, and that was it. Mom knows best, and I basically, the best thing I did in Korea was eat at Burger King, and I went back home.
Like you went all the way across the world, and like even once you're there, you didn't even like explore the sites and see some of the culture. You had a Burger King.
No, because my mindset was on my face, and I think when I'm 80 or 70, I want to see my face age a little bit, and I kind of want to see my face just. That's my face. I think, no tea to anyone that gets their face done. I fully stand behind plastic surgery. But I think when it comes to this, my cheekbones and my insecurity of it, I think, like I said, I was just doing it for the wrong reasons. I was doing it to fit in so people don't call me like overly done. But that, like, I don't care. I'm 36 years old. I don't really care what people think, to be honest, anymore.
A lot of people pay a shit ton of money to look like you. So.
Which I didn't know. I didn't know cheekbones was a thing. And you know what sucks about these cheekbones is that when I buy sunglasses, I'm very limited. Like they sit right here. It's so annoying.
You have to get those tiny matrix sunglasses.
Literally,
like it's the only thing that works.
I could get it bent or something. Yeah.
Or like, what was the name of that that woman? She was like the mistress of the basketball CEO. She wore like whenever all the press stuff was happening, she had like the giant face shield she was wearing. What was her name?
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
She was walking around in public and she was trying to hide her face, so she wore like this giant like face shield.
That's fierce.
She was this like gold digger lady. I can't remember her name.
That's kind of fierce.
Y'all know. Y'all are cultured. The panel knows. So you said you wanted to age like more gracefully, and so do you have any plans for any other cosmetic surgeries or anything?
Honestly, no.
No.
I pretty much, I don't want to say I'm done as if I do it all the time. I got my ass done 8 years ago because I was really insecure with my ass and I'm such a bottom. So you can't bottom with no ass. Like that's kind of weird. So like I was like, okay, I need to get my ass done. So I look like a bottom and I track tops and got my ass done and then just lips. I don't have plans to do anything else.
Like no filler, implants, lobotomy, nothing? No?
No, I don't. I'm pretty happy with what I look like. And also, I'm fine. Yeah.
I feel like too that even outside of like cosmetic surgeries and stuff, you've also have the luxury of being really good at makeup. Yeah. Which wasn't always the case though.
Oh my god.
There was a time when it was a little bit rougher.
Oh my god, I knew these were coming.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah. I'm assuming that was in Vegas at the time.
Look at the cheekbones.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
And because the makeup didn't create those, obviously.
This was actually in San Francisco.
Oh.
When I was in high school. I've done drags when I was a junior in high school. I went to high school in drag. And when I was 18, I wanted to start my career of whatever that was. So I started the Hostess Club called the Crib in SF on Harrison Street. And it was the biggest club in the Bay Area. I mean, we brought in like Jeffree Star, E40, Britannia, Rock of Love.
E40?
Rapper. I brought in Lady Gaga. Knowing that this girl had the fiercest tuck I've ever seen in my entire life.
Like, I'm just talking like E40. Why is E40 at the drag show?
It's just because it was one of the biggest stages in the Bay Area where you want to perform, you want to be somebody. So back then when you're on like MySpace music, that was the place to show your MySpace music talent. So I would get a roster of what celebrities are coming in for the month and I would dress in drag because it was 21 and up. but I was 18, so I was able to host. And I've always been such a great MC, and I bring out these celebrities. And this was the upstairs dressing room, and this guy particularly was one of the guys I had sex with. He was a go-go dancer.
That's beautiful. I'm glad you found love.
Imagine me with this flower in my hair.
Is it in drag you guys are hooking up, or
Yes.
out of drag?
Yeah.
Was he like was he a straight guy?
Whatever you want to call it. He was just down.
Did he identify as straight?
Yes, he
Okay.
did. Yeah. A lot of the go-go's would work there, and they're straight because it was like the biggest club. So in order to be in nightlife, you would want to work at the Crib. And like I said, it was the biggest stage in the Bay Area. You go there to see like Lady Gaga, upcoming artists from like MySpace. And yeah, I was the host, and that was my dressing room. And yeah.
You were pulling the boys in that wig. That's crazy. That's a hard front.
You know, back then, listen, there was no comparison. So that hair, you can't compare it to anything else.
It was a different animal. It was a different beast back then. But like you got a job working at Mac. How did that girl get a job at Mac though?
Okay, so I had...
You're wearing like no cosmetics in that photo. If anyone can like look closer in this photo.
There was no... Well, back then you would go to Rite Aid and just buy whatever makeup you can afford and just put it on, which honestly, I had more fun getting into drag back then. I think nowadays, I think there's just so much that comparison and...
Like an expectation.
Expectations when it comes to makeup. Back then, you just wear black and silver, whatever lipstick color, a bronzer, and that's it. And you go out and you have such a great time.
Yeah.
You know, when I got into Mac when I was 22 and I moved to Vegas already, and I knew my favorite thing about drag was makeup. So I was pressuring myself to learn because getting into Mac was really, really hard. You have to be really, really pretty or really, really good. Or really gay.
So, I was about to say, like, how'd you get in then? Because the third option,
because
there it was.
Super gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was super gay, super fun, and then they basically taught me my makeup skills. Yeah.
Damn, shout out to Mac.
Yeah, hey Mac.
You think you'd be here today if you ever got that job at Mac?
No. Mac raised me. Mac raised me how to do makeup. Mac taught me makeup, business. I mean, I was an assistant manager for so many years. So my background in business, number-wise, I'm pretty good, you know. So, yeah. And because of that, I'm able to do what I can do after Drag Race.
Damn.
You know,
Well, you mentioned you started getting into makeup in high school, and you said you were doing drag in high school?
junior year.
Like, you were just, like, in the school in full drag?
So I would imagine this,
Okay.
Abercrombie shirt, cargo pants, flip-flops, full beat, shaved head, messenger bag, because I hated backpacks since I was like
Oh.
in third grade.
You thought you were different.
I had like a messenger bag.
Did you wear, like, on the shoulder or crossbody?
Both, but shoulder.
Shoulder, mostly like a purse
So
almost.
I'm like full pursing it out. And yeah, I remember doing my mascara with my friend Nicole in first period, and we would spend hours on mascara, like just
Hours?
hours, because mascara was like a thing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like I mean, I don't know, I think it's still a thing, but yeah. And I remember I used to get called into the principal's office, and I would have to wipe my makeup off, and my mom would come in and just be like, "He's fine, he's fine."
Oh, so your mom was like with it though. She was okay with it.
Yeah, my mom was very okay with me expressing myself the way I wanted to.
Obviously, like as you mentioned, they made you take the makeup off. So the school had an issue with it. Did the other kids have an issue with it?
No, because I was friends with the cool people. I was that token gay with like the hottest girls. So especially like at lunch, we would all like have our little area. And I was a token gay. I never really had any bullying experience besides my counselor. If I can remember, this is so crazy going back. He actually suggested me not to do PE
Oh,
because I was gay.
okay.
And he put me in jazz 1 and 2 all 4 years.
You were so gay. They pulled you out of athletics.
I think that is a
and they're like,
form of
you need. They're like,
bullying.
you need more. Yeah, kind of. Well, I think it's like a.
Safety thing?
It's almost like reverse homophobia, where it's like
Yeah.
you're so gay, like you get an extra art extracurriculum.
Yes.
Yeah.
He made me do jazz, and I hated jazz.
Or maybe he saw something there. He's just like, there's all these like gay artists and stuff. So like, we don't know what this kid is into yet, but surely it's in there. And he wasn't wrong. You ended up becoming an artist. So,
And I'm not good at PE, so what am I supposed to do there?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I mean, it wasn't completely wrong. It just wasn't jazz.
Kind of a reverse
Yeah.
homophobia-ish.
Yeah. I think he had the best of intentions. I think his heart
would
was
look
in
at
the
it
right
that way.
place.
I'll look at it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe his mind and thinking wasn't in the right place, but his heart was.
He was like, "You're not going to PE."
Yeah. Did you actually like feel safe doing this in this town though? Because I know like the area you lived in, I was doing some research and there was actually a kid from your school that was like murdered like the year you were in like junior, senior year or so.
I would say it's not a terrible neighborhood. It was very upcoming. Like a lot of the houses were like mass produced and things like that. But also it just there's like two gay guys, you know, so we were still new or different to everybody else. So there's also those times where you have kind of like watch your back. But luckily, my circle was very protective. But also, when I was a senior, I was that person that had to take 2 classes and then I get to leave early because I was so ready to get out of high school to start my life.
Yeah. You in that program where like you go to like a job or something?
Yeah, so I started working at Victoria's Secret and things like that. So I had a whole different agenda. And on Thursdays, I would drive to San Francisco to host the show. So I was already on my own path. So I was rushing to get out because, you know, I was ready to be me. But it wasn't anything about like bullying or anything safety wise. I think
you were just ready for the next chapter.
I was just ready for the next chapter.
Yeah.
And like what's my next life gonna look like and doing this and that, which I didn't even know. My mom was like, "You're not going to college. You're too bright to go to college. You're too artistic. You know, you're a star."
Yeah, she's
so
like, you're gonna be a famous jazz musician.
Yeah,
like, you don't need school.
So yeah, and then after that, I ventured off. I got my own apartment when I was 18, afforded everything, my own car, and then Vegas was the next spot. But to be in Vegas, you had to be 21. So I had to kill time in Sacramento. So.
Whenever you first started doing drag, though, the original drag name wasn't even Kimora. It was Leilani, wasn't it? Leilani.
I didn't know how to spell it.
Yeah, I was about to say, isn't it true you had changed your name because you were illiterate, basically?
Yeah.
Like you couldn't spell?
I didn't know how to spell it. But I was attracted to the Kimora name more. It just felt more me, more sexy, vixen.
Like say, you went from Leilani, then it became Lady Kimora.
When I did Lady Kimora, it was in my Christina Aguilera fan moment where she was calling herself Lady C. And I was like, okay, I kind of like Lady Kimora, you know? But then we needed like a last name because of Drag Race, because you want like a last name.
Yeah.
So that's where Blac Chyna kind of just mushed in, you know? Yeah. And my looks back then were so inspired by Tila Tequila. So here's long story short. I was MySpace famous. I had like over 500,000 friends because Tila Tequila shouted me out. But obviously we don't talk about her now because she's crazy.
Yeah.
But like
But at the time, because she was like the most followed person on MySpace at one point, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was like she was the Kim K of MySpace, and she was Vietnamese. So to see someone in my culture being like this famous person was like really cool to me. So she kind of made me famous that way. So that's how like I needed different names to kind of elevate myself throughout. I mean, I've had names for like 2 months.
Can you rattle off some of the past forgotten names?
Yeah. Like
will you rattle off some of the names if you can?
God. So the name that I'm known for the most is Von Dolce.
Oh yeah, that's like your boy name.
Yeah. Like get rid of?
No, like you said, you've had a bunch of names. Like, can you like when I say rattle off, is like can you remember a lot of like the past names?
Lady Kimora, Christina with a K. Christina with a K, because I thought it was like super brilliant. Leilani, Kimora. I think I was called Juicy Dolce at one point. Because I was like this go-go drag dancer because I had to do like things on the side. So they call me Juicy Dolce. I have it tattooed on the back of my lower ass.
Juicy Dolce?
Juicy Dolce, because I love Juicy Couture and Dolce & Gabbana. And back then when you had like designer names, you were like super cool. Obviously Von Dolce is what I'm known for the most. And then now Kimora Blac. And there was a point where I was going to name myself China with the Y.
You're always just on the lookout for a new name, a new rebrand. So how long have you had the Kimora Blac name though, unchanged?
I would say Kimora Blac name professionally wise was Drag Race. I think that's what the world knows me as. So,
how long did you have the name before Drag Race?
Maybe like 1.5 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would say 1.5 years.
So what was the name right before Drag Race?
Just Kimora.
Just Kimora.
Yeah, just Kimora. But I needed like a last name.
Yeah. I feel like it would have been hard to brand yourself as Kimora because anyone looks you up online, it's immediately going to pop up Kimora Lee Simmons or...
Right. So I needed like a last name, and Blac China at that time was just everything because just to see like a stripper with like bangs, I was like, oh my God, I love her. So, yeah.
So whenever you started doing drag, because I said you were doing makeup and stuff in school, and then you immediately hit the clubs. How did you get into actually performing? Like, how did you find your way to the stage?
I've always been a performer. I've always done it.
Were you a theater kid?
No, I actually hate theater and Broadway.
Oh my gosh.
Hate it.
What are your thoughts on theater queens?
Love them. But I would never hang out.
Yeah. I will say, like,
I'm being honest. I'm giving it to you straight.
So, like, you love a lot of theater queens, but you will never catch Kimora kikiing with Rose in a room. It's not happening.
Yeah, if we're at like a club, yeah, but I wouldn't go like eat.
I will say, like, I have a lot of friends that are theater kids and hang out with them, love them, but I don't want to ride in a car with them because something about
the same.
I don't mind, like, you know, it's like there's a lot in common, but it's anyone that I've been in a car with that's like a theater kid, they want to listen to show tunes the whole time.
Okay, so we're the same. That's exactly what I'm coming from.
I just don't want to listen. Like,
I just don't have time for this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ruin the experience.
Yeah, I feel like I'm dragging down the mood. I feel like you're like, if I wasn't in this car, you'd be singing along, and my presence here is taking.
I want circuit music in the car.
Yeah,
saw Wicked, hate it, left in 10 minutes, got my money back, complained at everyone it was loud in the theater.
You didn't like Wicked?
I think it was awful.
You went home and looked up Wicked house remix.
I think it's awful. I know. Take my gay card away. I've just never been a Broadway person. Now, am I open to someone changing my mind? Absolutely. Sure. I think I saw Lion King in London and I was like, okay, cool, but I literally fell asleep.
These are plays that people pay like $100,000 to get these tickets to see on Broadway, and you're just like, and you fell asleep. I mean, like mezzanine, front row, things like that.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
It's falling asleep to some of the most critically acclaimed musicals of all time.
I'm good. I don't even need you to FaceTime me when you're there.
Oh.
No.
Oh my gosh.
But kudos to the people that love it. I just, it's not my thing. Now, specifically Wicked, I'm not a fan of The Wizard of Oz at all. I think it's such a boring movie with no plot, no finish. It's completely all over the place. They ramble all day, and there's just no conclusion to it.
Oh my gosh.
Unless you can tell me the conclusion.
What do you mean the conclusion?
Like to The Wizard of Oz.
She makes it back home.
Girl, that took way too long.
Like, these are like things that like I think The Wizard of Oz is still like the most highest rated movie of all time, and you're just like, that's the word.
Where are you getting this from?
That's like a thing. Like IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, all the scores, like critics loved it, and you're the one person that's like, no, that was dog shit.
So what does a Rotten Tomato mean? Isn't Rotten Tomato bad?
Yeah, well, the website's called Rotten Tomatoes, but then they rate it on like a scale. So if it's a good movie, they're like fresh tomato, and if it's bad, it's like Rotten Tomato. Yeah, and you don't care. You're just like tomato.
Tomato.
You heard it here first. So you never performed like a musical song or anything like that? No, just top 40?
Maddy, I hate Broadway and musicals. If I don't watch it, why would I perform it?
Well, I think a lot of queens perform stuff that they think is going to get money.
No, I actually like to do what I like to do, and I'm not doing that.
That's fair. That's fair. That's valid.
I don't perform during Halloween. I don't perform during Christmas. I hate Christmas drag. I don't do Broadway. I don't do musicals. Don't call me. I'm okay.
I'm not judging you. Like I agree. Like as a queen, I think you should do the stuff that you enjoy. Because a lot of queens, they perform songs they don't like or do something just because it's topical. You know,
I think to be a true artist, quote unquote, you do what you're supposed to do and do what you love. And I'm okay voicing like what I don't like to do. And I just don't want to do that. I don't even want to see it. Am I an ally? Sure.
You're an ally for theater kids.
I'm an ally, of course. I wanted to do all the theater songs they can do.
Yeah, you literally said like, I support you. As long as you keep it away from me, keep it behind closed doors.
If one of my friends decide to do it and want me to go, of course I would go. I'd bite the bullet and go. But for me, knowing how I am, and all my boys at home would know how I am. My face, you can't hide it. So I'm just like very like, oh. Okay.
Well, you heard it here first. Kimora Blac is a fierce Brock ally for the theater kids.
I'm an ally.
As long as she doesn't have to see it.
I'm an ally.
It's like she supports as long as you're not shoving it down her throat.
I will share the flyers.
So like, what was whenever you first started performing? What it was just like kind of upbeat. You've always been like a dancer.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You say yes hesitantly. That's not a
well, when you
confident
say
yes.
dancing, is this like choreo? Is this like 1 2 1 2?
Would you say
What
you're a
is this?
dancing queen?
I would say I'm a movement queen. I
Movement
move.
queen. Okay.
Um, I think a lot of my drag aesthetic is about making people feel super horny in their chair.
Okay.
Like I want you to feel hot. I want you to
Mm-hmm.
feel sexy. I want you to feel like you're watching a show in like red light district Amsterdam.
Mm-hmm.
That's why a lot of my songs that I do are very like Pussycat Doll driven, very sexy movement. I want you to, like feel like hot. So I don't care for choreo when it comes to my performances because for me it's like I just think it's too serious
Mm-hmm.
for me. And one, I don't want to go to practice. I don't think it's that serious.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I said, I'm an ally to people that do choreo, but like it's for me, it's just not my aesthetic. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what it is. And a lot of my boys, they always want to be my backup dancers, and I'm just like, I can't do this. Like it's just not me.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't feel 100% me on stage, then I just won't do it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like being sexy. I want to make like that straight guy feel
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, goddamn,
Yeah.
I'm into her.
So like, I'm just assuming like you're like a kid at home, just watching TV, and a Pussycat Dolls Buttons music video came up, and it was just like a switch that flipped for you.
I mean, gay awakening, hello.
Yeah.
I was like, my prerogative Britney, Toxic, Dirty Christina Aguilera, Nicole Scherzinger, Pussycat Dolls. But I mean, those iconic sex songs
Mm-hmm.
are just my gay awakening. That I just want to be them when I grow up.
You want to be famous. You
wanna
want to be a
famous.
star.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I was gonna say you want to have boobies, but you don't wear them, so
No, I used to do breastplates.
yeah. Back in the day, you got tired of sweating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mainly that was the cause.
It's not fun. Like the queens you see like on Drag Race, they wear the big old titty bibs. It's like it's
I-
disgusting under there.
It's disgusting. I started the breakout. I'm very prone to acne, and that was my other thing I was very insecure of. The breastplate, I started to get very severe acne on my chest, and I'm like, all this for 3 minutes? Girl, bye. There you go.
But whenever you first started performing, say your mom was really supportive of you. Was she supportive whenever you were selling sex at the club? Like, was she still
Yeah,
with it?
she actually been to some of my shows. I had to break it down to her so she understand, because I had to come out as gay and come out as a drag queen, which is two separate, completely different things.
Yeah.
So she understood it and she was okay with it. I mean, I think she got better with it when I started to do it as a career, where it was like, okay, this is not just something that I'm, permanently am thinking of doing. Or,
Yeah.
I mean, I did go through my era of thinking if I was trans or those stages, because I've always been super hyper feminine, which is kind of sometimes confusing sometimes, because when you're in drag all the time, you start to see this face more than the face without makeup. So I did go through that phase, but my mom knew that this was very career driven, and she would have been okay with it if I decided to do other things, But she's aware. So I think it's how I broke it down to her. And also, she's high. She smokes weed all the time, so it's easy to come out to someone that smokes weed. So yeah, my mom is fabulous. Think like a short Asian girl, big boobs, super fun, hairstylist. That's my mom.
Hey, it's Maddy, and I want you to check out Courtney Act's new show, R&R with Courtney Act, where she tackles the world's biggest issues with some amazing guests. It's all sponsored by Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/Courtney50off and use code Courtney50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box.
You mentioned like your gender journey, which is like I think a really interesting topic, which we'll get to like in a moment. But circling back to talking about your dad being this very like alpha male kind of guy, this might be a really ignorant question. Is that just like your family kind of thing, or is that like a Vietnamese culture thing?
Both. So growing in a household with my dad, which is super traditional, alpha, his way or the highway, Vietnamese, him and my mom would literally fist fight every single night.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I had to turn on to protection mode, and knowing to go to sleep, knowing that my mom and dad are gonna fight, to protect my brother and to kind of look out for my brother. So I had to grow up super fast, being very numb to those situations. And my dad always knew I was different. And there was moments where he had to force me to almost like de-gay me. He'll do certain things like take me to like a nail salon and basically slap me in the face in front of a nail salon because I would see it. So things like
Almost
that.
like negative reinforcement.
There's like
conditioning.
I remember one time I literally came home from school and it was like middle school. He got rid of all my clothes and put new clothes in, which was like very like boy clothes. So things like that he would do to let me know that he knows. So long story short, one day my mom packed me and my brother's bags. We left him. You know, do I know he's alive now? No, I don't know. But so he'll do certain things like that to kind of let me know that he knows. It definitely made me who I am because I can read energy very well, and I kind of put on like a wall sometimes of letting people in because I'm afraid of not showing that I'm super gay but also feminine, you know. So it was tough because I had to sometimes be rough a little bit when I leave the house and then go to school and be like, okay.
You mentioned your mom and dad fought a lot, and as we mentioned before, your mom was super supportive and your dad completely the opposite. Was your expression one of the things they fought about a lot?
I hope not.
But you were too young to really know.
Yeah, I hope not. But my dad was a very jealous man. I mean, I remember he would come into the salon and beat up a guy in my mom's chair because he thought he was like flirting with her.
Oh, like at work, at her job?
Yeah, things like that. You know, like, so those are things that I knew that he was alpha. So yeah, we had to get out of it super fast. And my mom obviously remarried. Amazing. He's my dad. He worked for the government, literally worked for, like, it was at the time, it was Arnold's office. He was the glass office next to him. So my dad is in the political world, very come home, suit, newspaper, bed by 8, you know, but loved us as his own, you know. So I'm really happy my mom was able to, you know, find love in that aspect.
Yeah.
And yeah, we have an amazing family. My brother's in the Marines. He's an ex-Marine. Now he flies helicopters. And I'm the drag queen. So in my in my mom's house, it's like a picture of me in drag race, and my brother as a Marine.
You had a very like rough childhood, and obviously you didn't live in like the most affluent of circumstances. Do you think that's part of the reason why you made so much of like your brand very like name brand designer aspirational?
I guess I just don't give a like I mean, for example, Kim, I just don't give a
Yeah.
I know she doesn't give a and I have this hardcore shell of not caring what people think all the time, and I kind of maybe do in my brain, but I have to be that way because if I start to care, it might break me down, and I don't want to be seen as a crybaby or a failure when it comes to anything. So I have this hard shell of I don't give a
Yeah.
you know, but I've been that way for so long. So it's hard to kind of separate it because I don't know what the other side feels like.
Yeah.
So I pick these names and brand names, expensive. Oh, I can get this, which I can't, by the way. But like I can get this or this and that to feel, I guess, that empty void, which I didn't have growing up. Oh my God, are you my therapist? This is crazy.
Well, I'm just like connecting the dots. I don't know, because you know, some people they give these name brands because it's things they grew up with, and other people
have
their
any of that
drag
stuff.
persona is more like aspirational, things they like, aspire to or want to be associated with.
People think I'm like this designer fanatic person, and I really am.
Well, I
not.
don't think it helps whenever you tie your brand to a lot of like designer things. Like, you even named yourself Juicy at one point.
I feel like
even your guy stuff, you called yourself Von Dolce.
Yeah, but
So that sounds like someone that loves like name brand designer things.
yeah, but I feel like everyone does. But back then, you got to understand this. Like back then, you didn't just sit in your room in the dark and created a name. Back then, we were so limited to social media. We had no social media.
We didn't have names back then. When I was a kid.
All we knew at that time is everyone fantasizes about designer stores. You know, like when in order to know a name or a word or something, which in my example, a brand name, you go to the mall and you see, oh, Versace. Oh, Versace sounds cool. Like now people can either create a name and everyone thinks it's like this thing, or back then you just pick like a designer store. I don't know. Maybe I did gravitate toward designer stores. But I didn't walk around with like Dolce & Gabbana when I was like 17.
Well, I'm assuming so. Again, like you were telling me how you were sitting at home, like taking care of your, your sibling, cooking and stuff. Like it didn't sound like a situation where, the housekeeper's coming and taking care of it for you.
No. I did not.
I don't know. I'm trying to connect dots too, just trying to piece it all together.
I think I was just obsessed with designers. And maybe that was my way of knowing like one day I'm going to have a designer bag or something. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe those are the voids that I'm figuring out on the way. Do I love designer? Yes. Who doesn't? Well, I know a lot of people don't. But
the theater queens.
Theater kids.
Yeah. That's why you don't with them.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
But as I mentioned, like your love of designers, even outside of drag, you had this persona you called Von Dolce. And with the Von Dolce persona, you used to record YouTube videos and stuff where you talked about a bunch of random topics, you went on rants. And with that in mind, I just have to ask, what is worse to you, shitter criminals or homie hoppers?
Okay. Shitter criminals.
Shitter criminals?
So I will go down in history as... Okay, so when YouTube became a thing, I was there when YouTube was new, right? And obviously I've been a bottom my whole life. I had to teach people how to douche because a lot of...
What do you mean? Teach
like,
them?
Clean out themselves.
Well, I know what douching is.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people would bottom and not douche, and it was not okay. It was against my beliefs. I believe that if you're gonna bottom, you should completely clean out, and you should be able to have sex in the daytime. Just saying. So I made a video that went viral on how to do it. I had the water bottle, the whole thing, and a lot of people have actually thanked me for it.
Yeah. A pioneer at that time. Again, YouTube is new. This is like 2010-ish?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah, this was back then. I remember
one of the earliest douche tutorials you could find on the internet.
It really is. It's iconic. Now, I don't know who's in charge of that video because I think it's still up. But a lot of people have come up to me at the clubs and in person. They're like, you taught me how to douche. I'm like, good.
Yeah.
Good job.
And it was ranting about these people not douching that you came up with the term shitter criminals.
Shitter criminals because they should be in prison. If you shit on a dick, you should be in prison.
That's a criminal offense. What do you think is the time for that?
Oh, like for life.
Life in prison?
Yeah. Oh, okay, well, half life.
Half life. Okay.
Or maybe just go to a Broadway show.
Oh my God. Well, for you, that's a death. That's a death sentence.
Yeah, shitter criminals. That's just a very criminal thing to do.
Yeah. But you also did another video talking about homie hoppers. And in that video, you said they are the worst people.
Well, homie hoppers suck because, like, they just want to have sex with everyone. So they hop around. But I guess I'm a homie hopper too. Ish. But you don't want to be a homie hopper.
You live long enough to see yourself become a villain.
I think so.
Yeah.
But you don't go to prison for life if you're a homie hopper.
No.
No, you just...
No, it's a fine.
It's a fine.
Yeah, just a fine.
But...
So, to answer the question on everyone's mind, shitter criminals below homie hoppers.
Yes, because you're shitting on another human being, which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's like insane if you think about it. I've always said gay sex is kind of insane because you're like literally like having sex with like someone's butt.
That is how it works, yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Do I love it? Yeah, I love it. But like, it's kind of crazy.
Straight people do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think anal is just hot. But as long as you clean it.
Yeah, I feel like you have very like mixed feelings about it.
Well, you want to be clean.
Yeah, of course.
I still stand by clean.
Yeah.
I don't really support.
Like you want to be like
poop.
you want to be in and around the butt, but you want there to be no signs that it is a butt
on another person.
We're anti-turd.
I'm very anti-turd. Very, very anti-turd. I think if you're going to be a bottom, you should be really good at it. And not think you are a bottom. I truly believe bottoms are born bottoms. Now, can you bottom?
Okay.
Of course. But
Assigned bottom at birth.
There are bottoms that truly breathe it, live it, and like fully committed. But I think there are people that want to be bottoms that can't be bottoms, but want to be bottoms so bad that they poop on people. And I think that's kind of crazy.
They don't realize that it's a lifetime commitment.
It's your life. So
And they're
maybe
out
I should
here.
call my own douching like tool.
I don't know. I think something with like the shitter criminal brand, but like, I don't know what the opposite of that. Shitter police?
Shitter police.
Do shitter police count in the ACAB?
I I think so.
It's one of those things where it's like, well, it's like, you know, Shitter Police, Paw Patrol. Like, do they count or are they okay?
They're not great,
Yeah.
but I guess. But I should have my own douching product because I can douche with anything.
Wait, what do you mean with anything?
Like a water bottle, Red Bull.
What? Have you?
Yeah.
Have you ever used anything other than water?
Like mud?
What? No, I don't know. Like a different. I don't know. Like a
What's
like
other
a,
than water?
I don't know. Like a
Like
juice. I don't
orange
know.
juice? Oh,
You're the one who said you could. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you tried it.
orange juice. That sounds kind of crazy. Imagine a Sprite.
You don't seem
Oh my
opposed.
god,
Sprite?
that sounds crazy.
That McDonald's Sprite.
That sounds nuts. No, let's just keep it water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
Let's
Designer
keep it
water.
nice.
Fiji, of course.
Yeah, let's just keep
Dasani.
it very
No
designer.
Dasani. Just like.
Well, the water bottles matter. Like you can douche from any water bottle, but some are harder. So what you do is you take a blow dry and you blow it and you soften it.
You actually, this isn't just like a hypothetical. You know these tricks, like you've, because you are a professional. You are not a shitter criminal.
No,
you are an abject professional.
I am very good about what I do.
Again, like I'm. This isn't my area of expertise, but I would assume like a lot of the cheaper brand, like Great Value Walmart brands, the really soft bottles, I would assume would be better for the task.
Yeah, you want it soft because when you're douching, you want to be able to squeeze it, and some water bottles are harder.
Yeah.
But like I said, if the water bottle's hard, like what's that long bottle? The one, those are the hardest.
Oh, like the smart water.
Smart water.
Yeah.
So those are the hardest. So if you're in that hotel room with they give you smart water, you take a blow dryer and you just blow dry it very soft into it's like a stripper heel. When you want to like put your foot into a stripper heel, you blow dry it. But that's like emergency. By this time it's 2025, you should have a douching tool of some sort.
Yeah.
But if you're like, oh my god, I want him.
But if you took it seriously enough, there would never be an emergency situation.
That is true. See, don't eat after 6 p.m.
Nope.
if you're going out.
You keep that thing on you. Keep it in your what was the bag you said your satchel? What was it?
My messenger bag.
Keep it in your messenger bag.
I love
your
my messenger bag. It was my way to have a purse.
Well, doing a hard transition into a much more serious topic. You mentioned earlier you were talking about like your gender identity and like your journey with that, and you mentioned that like you said you almost transitioned at one point.
Yes.
So what was it that made you think you might have been trans, and what was that journey like for you? And why'd you decide not to?
I don't think I might have been trans. I think, how do I put this? I think I went through a stage because I'm hyper feminine when it comes to everything. You know, the way I walk, the way I talk, the way I move, the way I dress, the way I, and all that. And I think what happens is because I've done drag every single night, I see this face all the time. I'm very comfortable. And then I started to compare me in drag compared to me out of drag. So when you meet Vaughn or hang out with Vaughn, very different from how I act in drag. So I was very comfortable being in makeup, being in wigs, and being all that. But I just don't, I don't know what being trans feels like. And I would be damned if I did do everything because of those reasons. Because I like makeup, I like hair, I don't think for me that was enough to fully transition. So I questioned it for years, but I think I've also reached a point that I'm content, if that makes sense. Now, if I were to decide to transition and do other things to my body and do other things to myself and get on hormones, I think I would be content as well. So I think I'm a traditional, fully non-binary in the middle. I think I really do breathe male and female and whatever the terms are, that I'm okay. You know, I don't really identify as anything. I just identify as my name or whatever name I provide you. So I'm okay with that. And that was enough for me to sleep, lay my head at night and sleep. So I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel very like established in that identity, or do you think your gender identity is something that's still evolving and might change in the future?
It could change, and I'm content. I'm content with that too. I don't know what's going to happen in 5 years. I don't know what's going to happen in 10 years. A lot of girls have, I've talked to a lot of girls, you know, like, hey, I'm going through this. This is this. They're like, you have your whole life. You have your whole life. You don't have to figure it out now. And that kind of stuck with me because I'm okay. I don't think I need to put myself on this timeline that I need to do this by this time. So I'm okay with that. And if I don't transition or if I do, I'm okay.
You mentioned like in an interview before that like your persona of Kimora Blac felt like the person you were always meant to be. Was it like the femininity of that, or was it just like the character of that?
So I've always been feminine. It's one of my biggest insecurities growing up because in the LGBT gay world of it all, being a feminine boy is sometimes made fun of. And I've always been made fun of as a boy being feminine. I've always been looked down upon by other men, gay men. I felt unattractive. Now being feminine in drag, I felt more at home because it was okay.
Yeah. Was it just like the comfortability of like sitting in that, or was it a lot of it factored into like the reaction of other people?
I think it's the reaction of other people. I felt cool in drag doing it. And that's why when I met my partner and we've been together going on 13 years, it was really nice to know someone loved me for who I was because I didn't think I was ever going to find like a partner or a boyfriend or a husband because I was feminine and gay and skinny.
You thought that people only liked Kimora and not Vaughn.
Yeah. Now, can I pull boys as Kimora? Absolutely. I can pull, I actually can get more dates as Kimora and more attention as in me in drag. But when I met my partner, it was nice to know that there is someone that took the time to accept me for who I was. So yeah, and that's why I've always stood with feminine men. I've always tried to stand up for feminine men and feminine people because we just kind of sometimes look down upon. It's like our insecurity that we don't fit the mold of what is mask, you know? So I just felt more comfortable being Kimora, and that also puts the question mark, am I trans? Am I gonna be happier dressing? I'm just gonna do like dressing this mold all the time, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah.
You mentioned before too, I think in an interview or something, but you said that you couldn't ever become like Kimora full time because there's so many people that were attached to Vaughn, like your family and stuff, that you couldn't just like leave him behind. Do you think had you not had a lot of these people so attached to Vaughn that you would have transitioned?
I think I was afraid of losing my family because I had not only had to introduce myself as gay, a drag queen, and now a different thing. You know?
You worried that that might be like like a straw too far.
Yeah. But that was like the least of my worries. I think I was more worried about myself and what it would be like if I were to jump that leap. Yeah, and also I go to that place where like if I'm thinking about it for this too long, then maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm just really content and I'm just trying to be spoiled and I want everything, you know, or I don't know. So I think I'm a true non-binary in the middle. People like to say in the middle for some reason, but I'm content. I'm happy. I'm good, you know, so.
Yeah. You tweeted one time saying, I'm going to transition, and then quickly deleted it. Was that just like a joke, or were you actually like dabbling and soft launching it for a moment?
No, I remember when that was. Yeah, I think I was on the verge of doing it. I think I went through like really, I don't want to say dark phases because they weren't dark. It was just more of phases where I critically think about how I feel and what I want to do. I think I'd go through those moments. And I think, you know, everyone, when it comes to like Twitter, which is obviously the worst place in the world, when it was called Twitter, you know, you lash out, and living in like a social media world, sometimes we write things and what we're thinking. And a lot of us, we think like social media and Facebook and Twitter is like our diary. But even on Drag Race, I thought about it. Even getting off, I started to grow my hair out just to see. So I started to do those things that people do to kind of think that they are, I guess.
Yeah.
But no, I think I can sleep well at night knowing that I made the right decision. I'm okay with either or.
Yeah.
So.
You said before that there was a moment where you would look in the mirror and like you just make sure I word this correctly. You said before that if given the chance, you wouldn't be able to see Vaughn. What was it about, like, your persona of Vaughn, like you're being a Vaughn that was so, like, hard for you?
This might sound crazy and they might not get it. That has a lot to do with I went to a dark place when it comes to the plastic surgery. Like, people don't understand how hard that hit me, where people were making fun of my face.
It's like when people were saying that, like, oh, she's definitely had work done, like that really affected you.
Yeah, it really did. And like I said, remember I said earlier, I cry inside like a winner. So imagine crying inside like a winner, holding everything in, and in one day you just lash out or feel a certain way or go this way. So that had a lot to do with how people were making fun of me. And I don't want to be the victim because I can take it. You know what I mean? I can take it. But it sometimes hits hard because you got to see your face every single day. So when people start to make it seem like I'm ugly and I did surgery and I look ugly and it's just this constant thing. And I know it's very cliche for people to say, don't read the comments. We all do. That's why we have social media. We all do. No one has social media and not reading the comments. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was dedicated to how I was feeling in that moment when it comes to all those things. Because it did drive me insane. I mean, I went to South Korea for a consultation. You know, it just sucks because there's other things that people can focus on about me than that.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted you to confirm it because it's not even a debunk. It's not even a real thing to be concerned about. So people made me feel a certain way. I went through that a lot. Yeah, and people even like zoom in on pictures and edit pictures of me bringing it in, and they were like, this is her real picture. I'm like, that is not my picture. That's how dedicated, how sick people are, that they have that much time to do stuff like that. So it kind of drove me insane.
It's very different when someone says, like, oh, like, I don't like her drag, or I don't like her wigs, outfits, or whatever, versus like, I don't like the way she looks.
Like, she looks
out of drag.
She looks ugly.
Yeah, like, I don't like the real you.
It really affects people. And I can sit here and be like, well, the people saying this are ugly. You know, that's a very cliche thing to say, but I'm not worried about what people look like so much, I guess. I'm not sitting here, oh my God, her lips are uneven. Oh my God, oh my God. Like, I think I'm not built that way. And I guess people are built a certain way to bring people down by the way they look. You know, so you can there's so many other things you can talk about that you might dislike about me. But like when to call like those words me out of drag, it's kind of just crazy to me. It's like a level of bullying that exudes like a traditional high school bully. You know what I mean? Like, this is like level of bullying, like crazy.
Over time, you started to love yourself as Vaughn more. How did you start to overcome all this negativity and negative associations with Vaughn? How did you start to come to love that side of you?
Age.
Age?
I'm 36. I don't have time to sit here and worry about an 18-year-old's opinion.
It's a very healthy, mature way to think about it.
I don't have time to sit here to worry about a 16-year-old's opinion. Now, and this is the hard shell that I was talking about. Hard shell. I think I just don't have time to care what people think all the time. So, and that was one of the reasons why I didn't want to go on All Stars, because I was terrified of the outcome again. I was terrified of being on TV again because this is going to allow people to criticize me the way I look. You could talk about my drag. You could talk about my outfit doesn't look as good as Maddy Morphosis. But like when you start to call me ugly out of drag and to like try to bring me down to my lowest because the way I look just like that, it just hits different for me. So, but yeah, but I've surpassed that. I've grown up, so.
I'm glad you, like, over time you've heard to, you know, I wasn't sure because you talked before in the interviews about how, like, what your gender journey, where it landed you and the insecurities you had, but I didn't know where you were today, like if you were still comfortable looking in the mirror, but as you said, like you finally rationalized like both sides. Do you consider two sides of you, or does it just kind of it all, like, there's room in the middle as well?
There's two sides.
Is it just two sides?
I think so.
I've never really seen you like in the middle, like androgynous, really.
No, but I can go through those phases. I think I've gone through that phase a few times, but I think it ties into like how hyper feminine I am. So like one day I'll wear like your typical jersey and shorts, and then one day I'll wear like hammer pants with not heels, but like sandals and like a crop top and like my purse. And then one day I'll be dragged.
You'll make
I
it
don't
some
know.
days.
I think it's
You wear some Jinko jeans with some stilettos.
yeah.
Why
I mean,
not?
clothing is so wide range, so I don't really care, I guess. But also we do live in the world where we try to dress sometimes to fit in a certain way, you know? So I get that, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm 36. I don't care.
That's the moral of it all. The big takeaway here. She's
36, I don't
36
give
and
a
she don't
fuck.
care. That's the
don't.
tagline.
Yeah, I just don't give a Yeah.
Well, on that note, that is the last of my cards and the last bit of time we have. But before you go, I did want to give you something to thank you for coming in today. As we mentioned, you are a fashion girly, so I want to get you a new little accessory, a new little necklace piece. This is a locket that I got for you. And inside is a photo of your favorite person, Miss Kimora Blac.
Oh my god.
But there's also another photo in there, because we got to give love, of Vaughn. So we have Kimora Blac and Vaughn.
Can I turn close on?
Yeah, we'll Photoshop nails on for you.
I have no nails, you guys. I'm 36. I don't go.
But yeah, like I said, both sides of you are equal deserving of love. So I wanted to get both of them in that locket for you.
Oh my god, this is the cutest thing.
It's hard to find like a locket that's not the shape of a heart.
This is. Where did you get this?
I think Amazon, but that doesn't matter. Don't worry about that.
Oh,
Don't worry about that.
I'm gonna set this with my glove back on.
Okay.
That is so cute. Oh my god, that picture is so. I don't even honestly know how you found it. Like you had to have MySpace.
Whenever you did MySpace, was it MySpace as Kimora or Von Dolce?
Von Dolce.
Von Dolce. Oh, I didn't even know it was your like male persona that was on the
Von
MySpace.
Dolce. It did a lot of drag stuff, but it was Von Dolce. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, do you have any? So, what do you have coming up? Do you have any like shows, tours, projects, or anything coming up?
Well, I'm moving to San Diego in a few weeks.
Okay.
Very excited about that. I just love San Diego community. I love what they do down there, and they've been very welcoming. And I just signed a new contract with Fashion Nova. I've been with Fashion Nova for 5 years.
Yeah.
I've been their drag
Yeah.
person for 5 years, so I'm very excited about the new contract.
So all the people that keep seeing Kimora Blac wearing Fashion Nova, it's not because she's cheap and broke or anything.
No,
it's because she is a brand ambassador.
I get paid to wear it.
She gets paid to wear it. Yeah.
This is Fashion Nova.
Yeah.
Obviously I have shows all the time. I'm very, very fortunate to keep working and doing what I love.
Yeah.
So
not a lot of real girls can say that nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I am your ultimate party girl. I'm your ultimate elite socialite. I love drag, so I think that's what really got me to go so far in my longevity to perform and work. I'm just a fun person. I'm super easy. But yeah, so if you guys want to come to one of my shows, check out my Instagram. My flyers are always posted, ready to go 2 weeks before. But yeah, other than that, just living life, you know, and yeah.
Do you think like being like the party girl and the socialite is something you're always going to do? Like, do you see yourself being like the Amanda Lepore of San Diego whenever you're up there in age, or
Yes.
you think it's going to be you?
Yeah, I'm more of a socialite than a drag competitor. I love to be the life of the party.
Well, you know, you're not.
I don't compete. But I am a socialite. I think my drag is more in that way than, you know, standing on stage and lip syncing for your life and proving my drag is better than yours. Because I feel like every drag is somewhat valid.
Except for Theater Queens.
Oh my God. I'm gonna go to a Broadway show one day, and I'm gonna
If I would have known, the gift for you would have been
get paid for it.
Yeah, if I would have known, I would have got you tickets to like Cats or something.
What? Cats? Is that a thing?
It's a theater. Yeah, it's one of the biggest plays of all time.
I don't know.
Cats?
I don't think that's on my algorithm.
Not about cats. Okay. Anyway.
Anyway, but yeah. So you can see flyers on my Instagram and all that good stuff. I'm always gonna be. I mean, I'm going to Rhode Island next weekend. I mean, last year I worked 13 prides.
Oh my gosh.
Literally 13 prides. So this year I kind of took it a little slow. So, but yeah, if you guys want to see me in your home bar, I'll be there soon.
Yeah. At Kimora Blac on all your socials.
At Kimora Blac.
Kimora Blac. So you got merch.
I still do.
You one of the queens that got their own website?
Yes, but I actually took it down.
Oh, okay.
Because
you don't want to pay $12 a month.
I really don't. If you guys want merch, let me know. I'll give it to you. I don't want to sell this anymore. I kind of want to just get rid of it.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah. And you're about to tack on new names anyway, so you're gonna have to rebrand.
Yeah. Maybe my name might change when next year. I don't know.
Yeah. Stay tuned. Well, that's where you can find her. You can find me right here. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. And join us next time whenever we have somebody else. Yeah. Till then. Bye, guys. Thank you again to FaceApp for sponsoring this episode. Be sure to click the link in the description or scan the QR code to try their pro version for 1 week free.
Let's go.
Oh, my balls.